Right now you're living two lives, the life you want to live and the life others expect you to live. You hold back your opinions because you're afraid of judgment. You change your behavior around different people to fit in. You make decisions based on what others will think, not what you truly want. You're a prisoner, but your chains aren't made of iron. They're made of other people's opinions. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world, emperor of Rome, commander of armies, yet he wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that. You care more about what strangers think of you than what you think of yourself. Today, you're going to learn 6 Stoic rules that will free you from this prison. These aren't motivational speeches. These are philosophical weapons used by the greatest minds in history. If you're tired of living for others, if you're ready to reclaim your life, stay until the end. Let's begin. Rule 1. Remember, they're too busy thinking about themselves. Here's the truth that will set you free. Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. Everyone is the center of their own universe. When you walk into a room worried about what everyone thinks of you, guess what? They're all worried about what everyone thinks of them. That embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago that keeps you up at night. Nobody else remembers it. They were too busy thinking about their own embarrassing moments. That outfit you're worried people will judge? Most people won't even notice. They're too concerned with their own appearance. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because once you realize people barely notice you, you become free to be yourself. There's a psychological phenomenon called the spotlight effect. We believe we're in a spotlight, that everyone is watching us, analyzing us, judging us. Research shows we overestimate how much people notice us by about 200%. You think you're on stage. Really, you're in the audience like everyone else. Marcus Aurelius governed the largest empire in the world. Millions of people had opinions about him. Yet he wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Here's your practice. Next time you're worried about what someone thinks, ask yourself, in this moment, are they thinking about me? Or are they thinking about themselves? The answer is almost always themselves. They're worried about their own problems, their own insecurities, their own lives. You're barely a footnote in their mental story. This realization is liberating. If they're not thinking about you, why are you giving them so much power over you? This is the first rule. Remember, they're too busy thinking about themselves to judge you. Rule 2. Their opinion is their problem, not yours. Epictetus said something radical. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." This is a power move. Instead of defending yourself, you acknowledge their opinion is just their opinion. It doesn't define you. Marcus Aurelius took this further. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." The opinion itself doesn't hurt you. Your belief that it should hurt you is what hurts you. Think about it. Someone calls you stupid. That's just sound waves leaving their mouth, or pixels on a screen. Those sounds and pixels have no power. Zero. The power comes when you accept their opinion as truth, when you internalize it, when you let it define you. But what if you don't? What if someone calls you stupid and you think, that's their perspective, based on their limited knowledge of me, their own insecurities, their own worldview. It has nothing to do with my actual worth. Suddenly, their opinion bounces off you like rain off a roof. Epictetus was a slave. His master thought he was worthless property. Did Epictetus accept that opinion? No. He knew his worth wasn't determined by his master's perspective. He said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. When you care what someone thinks, you make them your master. You give them control over your emotional state." Here's the distinction most people miss. You can consider someone's opinion without accepting it as truth. If your boss says you're not good at your job, You can think, interesting perspective. Let me examine if there's truth here. Is there something I can improve? That's consideration. But if you immediately think, they're right, I'm terrible, I'm worthless, that's acceptance. That's giving them power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Their criticism, opinion, their judgment, perspective, their expectations of who you should be, their problem, not yours. Here's your practice. Next time someone judges you, silently say, that's their opinion. It doesn't define me. I define me. Then let it go like water off a duck's back. This is the second rule. Their opinion is their problem, not yours. Rule 3. Your character is what matters, not your reputation. Marcus Aurelius wrote one of the most powerful statements in all of Stoic philosophy. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. Notice he didn't say waste no more time arguing what a good man should look like to others. He said be one, not appear to be one. Your character is who you are when nobody is watching. Your reputation is who people think you are. Most people spend their entire lives managing their reputation, curating their image, performing for an audience. They're exhausted. The Stoics said, focus on character. Let reputation take care of itself. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because improving your character often means disappointing people's expectations. It means making choices that don't look good to others, but feel right to you. You want to leave a career everyone thinks is prestigious to pursue what you love? Your reputation might suffer, but your character grows. You want to set boundaries with toxic people? They'll call you selfish. Your reputation takes a hit, but your character strengthens. You want to admit you were wrong? People might lose respect, but your integrity deepens. Marcus Aurelius was emperor. He could have spent his time building monuments to himself, ensuring history remembered him as glorious. Instead, he spent his time being just, being fair, being philosophical. He wrote, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. He cared more about actually being good than appearing good. There's a story about Cato the Younger, a famous Stoic. He was known for his integrity. Once, someone spread vicious rumors about him all over Rome. His friends said, aren't you going to defend yourself? Cato replied, let them talk. My life will be my defense. He understood, if you live with character, the truth eventually reveals itself. If you live for reputation, you're constantly defending, explaining, performing. Here's what most people don't realize. Reputation is fragile. It can be destroyed by a rumor, a mistake, a scandal. Character is permanent. Once built, it's yours. Marcus Aurelius wrote, dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. He was saying, think bigger than what people think of you. Think about who you actually are. Your practice this week, make one decision based purely on character, not reputation. Maybe it's admitting a mistake. Maybe it's saying no to something you should refuse. Maybe it's standing for something unpopular. Do what's right, not what looks right. This is the third rule. Your character matters, not your reputation. Rule 4. Understand that criticism reveals the critic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, when people injure you, ask yourself what good or harm they thought would come from it. If you understand that, you'll feel sympathy rather than outrage or anger. This is profound. Criticism tells you more about the critic than about you. Someone calls you arrogant. Maybe they're insecure about their own confidence. Someone says you're too ambitious. Maybe they've given up on their dreams. Someone criticizes your success. Maybe they're jealous. Someone says you're weird. Maybe they're afraid to be different themselves. Epictetus said, remember, it is not enough to be hit or insulted to be harmed. You must believe that you are being harmed. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Their words are just data about their internal state. Secure people don't tear others down. Happy people don't spread negativity. Confident people don't need to criticize. So when someone judges you harshly, you can actually feel compassion for them, because that criticism is coming from their pain, their fear, their insecurity. Marcus Aurelius took this to an extreme level. He wrote, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Don't get angry at critics. Understand them, then be so grounded in yourself that their words can't shake you. There's a story about a philosopher who was insulted in the marketplace. Instead of responding with anger, he said, "Thank you for showing me what I should not be." He turned the insult into a lesson. Your practice: next time someone criticizes you, pause. Ask yourself, what does this criticism reveal about them? What are they struggling with? What fear or insecurity is driving this? When you see criticism through this lens, it loses its sting. You're no longer the target. You're an observer of human nature. This is the fourth rule. Criticism reveals the critic more than it reveals you. Rule 5. Realize that approval is a trap. Here's something dangerous. Getting approval feels good. So good that people become addicted to it. They make every decision based on, will this get me approval? They become approval junkies, and like any addiction, they need more and more to feel satisfied. Marcus Aurelius saw this clearly. He wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Why is approval a trap? First, it's inconsistent. The same action gets approval from one person and criticism from another. You can't please everyone. Second, it's temporary. Today they love you, tomorrow they're bored with you. Third, it's controlling. When you need approval, you're no longer free. You're a puppet dancing for others. Fourth, it's a moving target. Even when you get approval, you'll need more. It never satisfies. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be a philosopher, prepare yourself from the very beginning to be laughed at, to be mocked." He was saying, if you need approval, you'll never be free. Freedom comes when you no longer need it. Think about the people who changed the world. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Galileo, Socrates, Jesus. They didn't have approval. They had opposition, mockery, persecution, but they had something more important: conviction, purpose, truth. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, wrote, "It is a disgrace to let your mind be controlled by external things." Approval is an external thing. It comes from outside you. When you depend on it, you give away your power, your practice. This week, do something without seeking approval. Post something you believe without checking likes. Make a decision without asking for validation. Wear something without caring if it's trendy. Notice how uncomfortable it feels at first. Then notice how free it feels after. This is the fifth rule. Approval is a trap. Freedom comes when you no longer need it. Rule 6. Live by your own standards. This is the culmination of everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Not if others won't approve. Not if it won't look good. If it's not right, if it's not true, your standards, your truth, your integrity." Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Most people live by borrowed standards, their parents' expectations, society's definitions of success, their friends' values. They're living someone else's life. The Stoics said, "Define your own standards, then live by them relentlessly." Marcus Aurelius had clear standards. Be just, be kind, be rational, serve others, control myself, accept what I cannot change. He didn't care if those standards made him popular. He cared if they made him good. He wrote, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." Sometimes living by your standards means standing alone. Sometimes it means being misunderstood. Sometimes it means being criticized. So what? Epictetus was more direct. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Stop justifying yourself to people. Stop explaining why you make the choices you make. Just live according to your standards and let your life speak for itself. Here's your practice. Write down your 5 core standards, the principles you will not compromise on. Maybe it's honesty, maybe it's courage, maybe it's growth, maybe it's family, maybe it's freedom. Write them down. Then make every major decision by asking, does this align with my standards? Not, will people approve? Not, will this make me popular? Just, does this align with my standards? When you live this way, something magical happens. You become magnetic because authenticity is rare. Integrity is powerful. People who truly live by their own standards stand out in a world of followers. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. It's within yourself, not in others' approval, not in their validation, in your way of thinking, your standards, your integrity." This is the sixth and final rule. Live by your own standards. Be your own judge. Let's recap these 6 rules. 1. They're too busy thinking about themselves. You're not the center of their world. 2. Their opinion is their problem. Don't accept it as your truth. 3. Character over reputation. Be good, don't just look good. 4. Criticism reveals the critic. It's data about them, not you. 5. Approval is a trap. Freedom comes when you don't need it. 6. Live by your own standards. Be your own judge. Marcus Aurelius lived under constant scrutiny. Millions had opinions about him, yet he remained free because he knew this truth. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Don't make that mistake. You have one life. Don't waste it living for others. Don't sacrifice your authenticity for their approval. Don't dim your light because they're uncomfortable with brightness. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. And freedom begins the moment you stop caring what they think. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Now go live your life, not theirs.